What is up, everybody? We are back again for another edition of the College Football Show. As I check the watch here, we're at 3:07 on the beautiful Central Plains. And as you know, I'm your host, Cole from JCP, along with my two co-hosts. Say what's up, y'all.
What up?
What up?
And on top of that, we have a special guest. Introduce yourself, sir.
Um, Captain AJ is here. He is here, Captain. Not just playing. It's just AJ. Great to be on the show with these guys, man. Yeah, can't wait to get to it.
All right.
Yeah, I mean it's a privilege to have you on as well, and how can you not smile? I mean, just talking about college football should get everybody into gear. So, without further ado, let's get into talking about college football. We'll start with the first game on the list, and we actually kind of went a little forward, a little backward on the list, so you might notice that. Just know it's all in the plan. Speaking of in the plan went right for the Michigan Wolverines as they are undefeated still. They had a little shaky showing last week against Bowling Green, but they were able to pull it together and ultimately get a win. They're still undefeated, and it is the return of Coach Harbaugh. With that being said, they have a contender coming in, a team that is being overlooked. They're also undefeated in the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, and they are undefeated in conference play as well as they beat Northwestern. Chooch, I'm going to start with you on this one. Who do you think is going to take this game in the big house? Michigan's a 24-point favorite.
Well, Cole, we have this conversation every year. Rutgers is 3-0 to start. It seems like the last 2 years we get to this point, right? Week 4, week 5, 3-0, 4-0. Then all of a sudden they walk into Wisconsin. I mean, not Wisconsin. They walk into a Michigan or an Ohio State, and it's like, all right, it's Rutgers still. We forgot. So I'm taking the Wolverines here. I think Rutgers keeps it close for half, and then Michigan kind of wakes up. Harbaugh's kind of going to have this team fired up, amped up. They're playing good without him. They're going to play better with him. So,
All
Wolverines.
right. AJ, you are up next. What do you think about this game?
Well, I'm gonna be honest, man. Chiefs kind of took it all away. I think Rutgers, when it comes to these big teams, they kind of sell. They don't show up. So, I'm definitely gonna go Michigan. I mean, I think Jim or Harbaugh, most call him Jim. I think he's coming back. He's gonna be even better. I think the team's gonna be even better. So I'm definitely gonna go with Michigan and expecting a big win here from Michigan. It'd be kind of interesting if it is close, but I think it will be a big win for Michigan. So I'm going Michigan.
All right,
AJ.
Jacob,
AJ.
you got a bias.
It's not close. It's not going to be close. It's not. All right, you can tell my buddy. It's not going to be close. Michigan is going to dominate Rutgers all the way. Blake Corum is going to shove it down Rutgers defense and make them swallow it like they're a high school or middle school team.
Oh,
Wow.
That's
great.
He gets passionate, folks. Sorry.
He does.
Michigan fans.
We're the best. We're the best at losing.
Wow. All right, so we got 3 across the board, all for the blue here. And we're gonna make it 4. I think Rutgers comes out in this game and they play with a fire to try and prove teams wrong and the nation wrong, but ultimately, they can't handle Harbaugh coming back. This team is motivated. They played for Harbaugh even when he wasn't there. So yeah, Michigan in this one, and they win big. They covered the 24-point spread quite easily, might I add. All right, moving on to the next one here. We got a Big Ten showdown as the Wisconsin Badgers come in to face the Purdue Boilermakers. Wisconsin is a 5.5-point favorite in this game. And if you're a Wisconsin fan, you're kind of going, it's a weird year so far. You have the win against Buffalo, then the devastating loss in Cougar Town against Washington State, and then you have the bounce back, which was a lot slower than some would have liked, but they still ended up pulling out the victory against Georgia Southern. As for Purdue, just a heartbreaking start to the year. I mean, you had a close one against Fresno State, just didn't go your way. You bounced back against Virginia Tech, and then Syracuse just kind of had fun against your team in that lack of a defense. So, with that being said, Chooch, where are you going here?
I think this is a game Purdue can hang around in, but the question is how consistently can their defense play in this game against the heavy Wisconsin run game, and I mean a passing game that's hit or miss sometimes, but I mean you get that with Mordecai, but he's playing better than most whiskey quarterbacks do. I think Wisconsin wins this one, but it's close. I think they find a way to win this one on the road via, I'm going to assume inclement weather comes in at some point. It's Purdue in October, September. So, yeah.
All right, whiskey. AJ.
Tough one, man. I think I'm going Wisconsin. I feel like they got the better playmakers, better team. Definitely going with them. They did take a hard loss not too long ago, but I feel like, I mean, it's Purdue, man. I don't really believe in their quarterback. I forgot his. I know it's like last name's Card.
Hudson Card.
Yeah, I don't really believe in them against this type of defense, so I'm definitely gonna go with them. I like Wisconsin's run game over Purdue, so definitely gonna go with Wisconsin here.
There we go. We got it.
Yeah,
Jacob.
I'm also. We're gonna make it 3 for 3 right now. I'm also gonna go Wisconsin. I like AJ said, I do not believe in Purdue's quarterback. I do believe in Wisconsin's quarterback, Tanner Mordecai, doing pretty well right now. Could do a little more in the touchdowns category, but other than that, throwing for 702 yards as of right now. So, yeah, go Wisconsin.
All right. So first off, I do want to point out Purdue was misspelled in the banner. So
It is?
yeah.
Oh my
Jacob,
God.
you killed that. But it honestly kind of correlates with Purdue. They are a team out of whack and out of sorts. So I think Wisconsin has a breakout game offensively against that awful Purdue defense.
There we
and
go.
I think he got it right. There we go. Yeah, but give me the Badgers. Luke Fickle and Braylon Allen together are just too much. I'm not going to say Mordecai. He just hasn't been that impressive, but I do think he has a better game this game and gets back on track. So give me the Badgers, and they cover the 5.5. All right, now to the actual kickoff game of the weekend that comes up today, as a matter of fact, at 6:30 Central. We got the Georgia State Panthers coming into town to take on the Chanticleers of Coastal Carolina. And this is really an interesting stat line here. Normally, you would think Georgia State at this point would have a crushing defeat, maybe stumbled against a team they should have beat. They're undefeated. You might want to take a screenshot of that because let me tell you, it doesn't last very long if you're a Georgia State fan. Coastal Carolina had their hearts broken week 1 against Chip Kelly in that UCLA team, but since then they've won 2 in a row, and their big story has been Grayson McCall. He's a phenomenal quarterback. He's been playing pretty good, but give Georgia State some credit with Granger. He's had 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's been very safe with the ball, and the offense has looked pretty efficient. With all that being considered, still not a lot of love for Georgia State. Coastal Carolina's a 5.5 point favorite. Chooch, lead us out.
So, one thing we've learned from this Coastal team is it doesn't matter what time of year it is, apparently, in the last couple seasons, is you're going to get one Coastal team one week and get the next Coastal team the other week. Now, so since I can't use the whole Mike Leach, you don't know which team you're going to get. You're going to prepare for 3, get the 5th one, or prepare for 4, get the 8th one. With this one, you get one of 3 teams, a team that can do both running and passing, or a team that can only do exclusively one or the other. So, but I think Coastal's a better team than this Georgia State team. Coastal, close one. Georgia State keeps everyone on notice, but Coastal is still the team to beat in the Sun Belt.
AJ?
Oh, okay. This is a tough one. See, I feel like I want to go Georgia, but I feel like Coastal's the better team. But if Coastal cannot get the run game going and they just mostly are passing, I do think they will lose. But I do think they will be able to get a run game going for this game. So I'm definitely gonna go Coastal here, and honestly, don't think it will be close. Honestly, think they will win by a few touchdowns. So yeah, I'm definitely going Coastal. And McCall, in my opinion, I trust him more than Granger or Granger. So yeah, Coastal.
All right. I'm going Coastal too, but I think the reason that Coastal gets over Georgia State with this one is the receiving core. Not only the good quarterback that they have, but the receiving core with Sam Pickney and Jared Brown. I think those two receivers help out this team so much on the offense, and that's what's gonna take Coastal Carolina this win.
Oh man, I'm getting nervous. We go 4 across the board again here. I'm gonna go Coastal Carolina, but it's a different reason. I love what this defense has the potential to be. They gave up only 27 to UCLA, which, like I said, I know it sounds like a lot, but against this explosive offense, I think that's pretty good. And then they held Jacksonville State to 16. And as we saw week 1, they're a better team than people think. And they held Duquesne to 7, which I know Duquesne kind of sucks, but like the potential for this defense to continue getting better each game is massive. And I think that's the difference in this ball game. Coastal Carolina outlasts Georgia State in this one.
All right.
Well, we got a showdown in the ACC's version of Death Valley. The Florida State Seminoles come into town, and it has been almost like the thorn in the side of the Seminoles. The Clemson Tigers have been the standard in the ACC, and it has not been challenged or really close for a while. But this is the game to where the standard can flip. Florida State's a 2-point road dog in Death Valley, keep in mind, which is something I have not been able to say since 2013. It's been a while. But the positives for Florida State, Jordan Travis has been incredible this year. 8 touchdowns, only 1 interception, and very close to 1,000 yards. Meanwhile, with Clemson, they've had moments of being really good throughout the year, but then they've had games like the game against Duke to where they gave away so many chances in the red zone that you thought it was Seattle at the 1 yard line against the Patriots, if you get that reference. Meanwhile, Chooch, I know you're a believer in this Knowles team, but is there going to be an upset? Will number 4 go down? What do you say?
This is kind of the first real test since Clemson lost to Duke, right? Like, how do you follow up the loss that now against another big team? Like, is your team going to come out and play just as flat? I think Florida State comes out ready. Listen, they're playing on all cylinders right now. The LSU win, great win. Southern Miss, it went out and handled business, 66 points. And then BC last week, mind you, this is a game that's usually kind of like this. BC likes to play Florida State close for some reason. I think it's because they both got the same colors or something. But listen, the Knowles offense and the athletes on this defense are coming together at the right time. They win this one. I think we're seeing the end of the Dabo and Nick Saban eras.
All right, going with the Knowles. What about you, AJ?
Oh, this is if you see, originally I had Florida, but I'm thinking. I think I'm gonna still go Florida because I think the difference makers are those 2 receivers for Florida, Wilson and Keon Coleman. They're just you guys you can't know they are unguardable, I think. But I do think Clemson has had a crazy bounce back from the Duke loss. I mean, they haven't played competition, but they still have blown out their last two opponents. And as you know, we know Florida had a close game last week with BC. We kind of are expecting them to be, or Florida to beat them tremendously. But I am going to go Florida still. I don't think it will be any type of blowout. I think Clemson will show up. So yeah, I'm gonna go Florida, and I think it's going to be a really close game.
All right. I think it'll be a close game, like I just said, but it will also be a very high scoring game on both ends. This is going to be one of those games where there's not going to be a lot of defense, and it's going to be touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. But I'm going to take Florida State with this one. I think the running back room that they have with Trey Benson and Rodney Hill is probably not as good as Michigan's, but still pretty good. So
Yeah, to bring up Michigan. Come on, man.
and the receiving
Michigan
room
fans.
is very, and the receiving room is really well. Also, the quarterback that they got too, and Jordan Travis,
Well,
just doing amazing right now.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Oh man. At the beginning in the preseason show, this was a game that was brought up, if you guys remember that. We talked about this game. Heading into the season, my prediction was Florida State to win the ACC. You could ask Chooch about this, or if you see in the Discord, it's right there.
Yeah.
All the early signs point to Florida State. But I'm going to contradict it this time. I'm going to go Dabo Swinney and Clemson to win this game because I really like Shipley. I think he is one of the best running backs in the country that does not get
for
enough
sure.
credit.
Yeah.
And I think Dabo Swinney is absolutely furious with how this season has turned out, especially the Duke loss. And I think he showed it the last 2 weeks. Give me Clemson and a pissed off Dabo Swinney to figure out this Florida State attack. Not to mention how AJ said, a week ago, they struggled with Boston College. I thought they would too. I think this time is where it finally catches up. So give me the Tigers to upset the Noles.
You just had to break the streak of us agreeing.
I did.
Dude, I was so close to going Clemson too. I was so close. I was so close.
Yeah, it's gonna be close, but just high scoring game, on both sides.
Yeah.
Speaking of close, funny you mentioned that. Oklahoma has been pretty close to perfect in the last 3 weeks, as they are 3-0. The reason I say close is that SMU game got a little out of hand, almost costed them their perfect season so far. But aside from that, they have been rolling through competition on that schooner. On the opposite side, as they roll into Cincinnati suffered a pretty embarrassing loss last week. They lost to Miami of Ohio in overtime. A lot of people upset about that one if you're a Bearcat fan. But there is a chance that this is either going to kick Cincinnati while they're down and they're going to lay down during this Oklahoma visit, or they're going to rise up to a new level and shock the Sooners. Obviously, Dylan Gabriel, he's not trying to let that happen. He's been pretty phenomenal with the ball, only one interception thus far. Brent Venables' defense has been looking, well, like Brent Venable. If you watched him at Clemson, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Oklahoma's a 14-point favorite here. Chooch, where are you going?
I'm gonna take Oklahoma here for the sheer fact that I think their defense is a lot better than we're gonna give it credit for. But like you said, Venables is better this year than it was last year. The offense is far better than it was last year. Sorry. And I think they go into Cincinnati and they show Cincinnati, hey, this is what conference play is about. Welcome to the Big 12. And there you go. Oklahoma, big time.
Right, Sooners big.
Yeah, I'm going with Oklahoma here. Blowout. Like they I know against SMU wasn't like a crazy big win, but when you win 73-0 and 66-17, there ain't a lot of people that's gonna go against you. So Oklahoma here, I love Gabriel. I mean, he's playing Loki at a Heisman type of level. Love Gabriel too. The receiver position and Walker's nice, so definitely going Oklahoma here. Blowout too, not a close game.
Blowout. Okay. I have to go Oklahoma. I don't think there's any hope for Cincinnati right now. But I just think Oklahoma this year, they have such well-rounded like people at almost every single position. And the offense especially is doing amazing, and that defense, as Chooch said. So yeah, on both offense and defense, just doing amazing right now. Oklahoma, it again by AJ, it will not be close.
I want to see what the Cincinnati team comes out to. If they come out, beaten, distraught, season's over, that they're going to get killed. I mean, it goes without saying. But if they rise up and they go, let's never have another last week again, I think this could be a scary game, kind of a sleepy game too, an 11 o'clock kickoff. I think Cincinnati hangs around in this game, maybe for a half, but then Oklahoma just kind of wakes up and they're like, yeah, no, screw this. Dylan Gabriel in that defense is just way too good. So yeah, give me the Sooners. All right, moving on to an SEC showdown, the first of a few on the show. The Auburn Tiger War Eagles, land whatever you want to call them, roll in to play the Aggies of Texas A&M in Aggie Land. And let's just say, if you're a Texas A&M fan, it's not a place you want to be right now. People want Jimbo Fisher gone. Bobby Petrino had a really rough time deciphering that Miami defense, and the connection seemed to be severed a little bit. However, they did bounce back last week against ULM and absolutely took care of business. It was 47-3. Auburn, on the other hand, they had a close scare in their last tough game against Cal. And then, they had Samford, which is pretty much a cupcake, and ended up killing them. So, with all things being considered right now, Hugh Freeze is 3-0, and Jimbo Fisher 2-1 in that heartbreaker against Miami, like I mentioned. Both of these coaches need this win, but who gets this win, Chooch?
So is it bad that I want to come out and say Hugh Freeze just flat out coaches Jimbo in this one, and Auburn moves to 4-0? Because wow. I think this Auburn team is a better team than the Miami team this A&M team lost to. So I'm taking the War Tiger Eagles over the Aggies.
Okay. I'm going Texas A&M. Fuck Auburn. I hate them anyway. Yeah. Not but seriously. I'm going A&M. I just feel like last week, ULM held them at 3 points. They did lose to Miami. I think Miami's kind of a little bit underrated, but UNM they destroyed too. And we got to remember Auburn didn't have a close game with Cal, but I don't know. I just don't feel like they all that this year. I feel like they're getting a little bit of hype, so I'm definitely going to Texas A&M, and yeah. Plus, I like Daniels running the ball. I feel like he runs harder than people think he do. So, yeah, I'm going Texas A&M.
All right.
But fuck Auburn. Yeah.
He's an Alabama fan, folks. That's why. There's the hatred. Jacob. Jacob? You
Did he
fall asleep?
I think his computer crashed.
Oh no.
Or something just crashed because he's frozen.
Dang.
Oh
no.
Oh no.
So we're still live apparently because it's still got us going up top. Right. Do we want to keep going?
Yep.
Well, yeah. We'll keep. Show must go on, right? So,
exactly.
Yeah. So,
this one.
well, All right, I guess I'll beat Jacob's pick here until he gets free. Jacob says Auburn in this game. He says Auburn will beat Texas A&M. I'm gonna follow that motion, and I'm gonna go with Auburn too. I like Peyton Throne. I think he's done a really good job. When they've needed him. I know he's struggled occasionally, but I think he's gotten it going for the most part. So yeah, give me Auburn, and like Chooch says, I really believe Hugh Freeze is a better coach than Jimbo Fisher, and it's going to get shown. Auburn's going to play to their strength, and Jimbo's kind of going to freak out a little bit. So give me the War Eagle Tigers, whatever you want to call them this week.
Yeah. Sorry about that. If anyone noticed anything weird, I cut out a little bit, but I'm taking Auburn. I never put bets on a man named Jimbo, so I also
Jimbo, fuck him.
So, yeah, I think Auburn's. I think it's gonna be a close game. I just think that Auburn will take the win here, though. Make a sneaky win. I think Jay Fair is gonna have a lot to do with the receiver for Auburn. I think he's gonna be huge in this game.
All right. So 3 Auburn, 1 A&M. The second time we've had 3-1. By the way, that's we're moving in a positive direction when we're arguing.
Right.
All right. Next game here, we got the SMU Mustangs taking on the TCU Horned Frogs, and let's just say things are going better than expected for both of these teams. You know, TCU week 1, of course, that devastating loss to Coach Prime at home. But since then, they bounced back with 2 straight wins. Of course, their last one being against Houston. SMU, they really have nothing to complain about in terms of the fan base. Oh, what? Let's switch the graphic here. We got UCLA Utah at the bottom.
Oh, what am I doing?
SMU TCU here. But as I was saying, SMU not really anything to be mad at if you're, an SMU fan. You fought hard. You played Oklahoma really well. Just came up a little short. TCU is a 7-point favorite in this game. Chooch, are you gonna go with the Horned Frogs, or are you going opposite side of the fence?
So as I keep saying, SMU's offense is, I think they're a better team than people think, and I think they're proving it right now. I think that 17-point loss to Oklahoma, but they only scored 28 points, and you can keep it close with this TCU team by how well the Stone play. So that's the keys in this one, but TCU edges one out at home. I don't think there's much of a gap between these teams. So,
all right, AJ.
TCU, not even close. They played so much. They played so much better since the Colorado game. It's not even funny. Like a team, like bro, they were ranked. Colorado beats them. They get them ranked. Next 2 games, they hold their opponents to under 15 points. I don't care TCU this game, bro. They're a better team in my opinion, But it will be a close game though. But TCU for sure. TCU for sure.
All right.
Yeah, I think TCU, after what we've seen last year, it's not even that we overlooked TCU last year. No one was really talking about TCU last year at all, so there wasn't really opinion. But after what we saw of them last year, how far they've gotten, I think they're going to come out swinging, and they're going to keep on swinging and get that win against SMU.
Yeah, they shouldn't have gotten that far. Michigan sucks. All right, cool. Go ahead.
All right, those 2. All right, Giants fan. Okay, Giants fan.
Oh my gosh! All right, that was a nuclear bomb.
all right, Homer, chill, Homer, chill.
All right,
we're not just picking against Ohio State because we hate them.
I mean, why else would you? Why would you pick anything other than them to lose?
Unbiased journalism.
Jesus, Michigan make the national championship already. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You guys are not wrong. Michigan, they fell flat last year. But this is
Giants fan.
this is SMU TCU here. I'm gonna go with the Horned Frogs in this one just because, like AJ was saying, this defense has been impressive. I did not expect this massive change in defense to happen so quick. When you're not allowing, over 13 points in the last two games compared to the 45 you gave up in week one, that should, sound alarm horns here.
Game
So give
changer.
me TCU in this one, and they don't even. This game is not close. TCU dominates SMU.
Ooh, okay.
All right, moving on to the next one here. We got a Pac 12 clash, and let's just say both teams ranked clash. UCLA, number 22 in the land, taking on the number 11 Utah Utes. Both of these teams undefeated. However, Utah had quite the scare against Baylor a week ago when they managed to pull it out with a late touchdown there against Dave Aranda and company. UCLA, they have not struggled yet this year. They handled Coastal Carolina, they handled San Diego State. They just take care of business and they look good while doing it. Dante Moore, of course, the guy in charge there for UCLA at quarterback, he's played pretty phenomenal. For Utah, they're kind of switching in and out, playing quarterback hokey pokey, if you will, and they're still winning. So, with all that being considered here, Utah's a 6-point home favorite. Chooch, where are you going?
I'm really hoping Utah can just kind of hold on to this until they get Rising back. Listen, Utah, just keep doing what you're doing, edging these games out. It will all come to you eventually. But UCLA is a different animal. But man, I don't know. See, I want to say UCLA because they're going to be prepared and so on and so forth. And Utah's home, and they're so good at home. But you know what? Yeah, you know what? I'm sticking to my original stories here. I'm going Utah. I think this one's a fun one to watch, but I'm taking the Utes.
Yeah, I'm going Utah too. UCLA has taken on no competition in my opinion, really. I mean they're doing what they're supposed to do, blowing the teams out, but I think this would be the best team they can play so far. So definitely going Utah. Yeah, Dante Moore is good, but this will be the best defense I think he'll play. So definitely going Utah here. Going with Chooch.
We'll also be going Utah. I just think, like AJ just said, the defense will win. Not that the defense will hold a shutout or anything, but the defense will play just well enough so that the offense can outscore UCLA. So yeah, I'm going Utes.
I hate to do this because I like Utah, but UCLA and Chip Kelly, how can you pick against them? Dante Moore looks incredible right now. I don't know how you pick against that. So I'm going to go UCLA. That powerful offense outdoes the Utah defense. And I think this is a real big statement victory for Chip Kelly because, ever since he got there, he really hasn't had that solidifying statement, we're here to compete for the Pac 12. I think this is that win. So give me the Bruins there. All right, moving on to the next one here. We got the Maryland Terrapins going on the road taking on Michigan State. As I mentioned that name, there might be some angry people in this chat. Take your guess on who I'm talking about. Anyways, Maryland's done a pretty good job all season long, playing to their strengths, having an explosive passing offense, and their defense looks pretty shaky at times, but pretty good at some other times. It's almost like a teeter-totter of which type of defense will we see today. Michigan State, of course, coming off of a lot of controversy with their coach, Mel Tucker. He wasn't available last week, and they got hammered by Washington. The ship might be sinking here, Chooch. What do you think? Maryland's a 7.5 point favorite in East Lansing.
Yeah, listen, I think this Maryland offense comes out and just airs it out against this Michigan State defense, which will struggle at times, I think, to keep up with the pace of this at which pace this Maryland offense can put points on the board. So as long as Maryland's defense is better than they usually are, I think Maryland's got this one in the bag. I'm going to take them in a close one over Sparty.
AJ?
All right. Let's see. Maryland versus Michigan State. Who do I like more? We're going Michigan State. Maryland, they've been. I don't know. I just feel like Michigan State. This will be their wake up game for them. You know, they haven't had the quite, the last few games, but definitely going Michigan State here. I don't like Maryland either. Fuck them. So Michigan State.
Maryland is going to absolutely destroy Michigan State. This is going to be like when you play football with your little brother, and you just ragdoll him around. This is not going to be a fun game for Michigan State fans, if there are any after this game. We seen last week how they are with how their head coach is not there right now, and they were already terrible before, but I didn't even know they could get worse. So Maryland all the way. Go Terps.
If I said Maryland by 1,000,000, would anybody get upset?
The two Michigan State fans. So
Yeah, I'm gonna go Maryland. I think Talia, however you pronounce it, Tagovailoa, is going to have a just shutdown game. He's gonna play phenomenal, and let's just say Michigan State. You might want to get this whole thing sorted out before you lose every game left on your schedule. So Maryland huge.
which, let's be honest, they were already going to do.
Right.
And then this happened just to nail in the coffin.
Yeah, this was that exclamation point. They're like, "Oh, you've already sucked, but now we're definitely throwing you out. We're not even walking you out. We're not saying we wish you the best on your endeavors. We're throwing them out."
We're kicking you out.
Yeah.
Get off the show. Get off my ticket. Actually, I don't want your name on my show. Let's go to the
So I want you guys to hear this for the first time. Big 12 matchup between BYU and Kansas. What is this world coming to? This is a Big 12 game now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, BYU was independent for the longest time, and then they bounced around some conferences, and here they are. It seems like in their final conference. We shall see on that. As BYU's 3-0 had a tremendous game against Arkansas, able to beat the Backs when not too many people gave any confidence to BYU, and it was on the road. Keep that in mind. Kansas, on the other hand, they've been flying pretty fast. They kicked the heck out of Missouri State. They were dominating Illinois for a half, and then Illinois came back, made it closer than anybody thought, but Illinois still held the L. And last week against Nevada, it was very close, almost alarming close. Everything in this game points to BYU winning, minus the spread. Kansas is a 9.5 point favorite here. Chooch, are you going to go along with the trend or the spread?
I'm going to take Kansas here. Listen, BYU did not. I mean, yeah, they came out and they played well, but Arkansas should have won that game. It's just they did what Arkansas does and decided that, hey, we have a lead against a team we should beat, so let's stop playing football and then remind our fans why they don't root for us for a whole season. Yeah, so I'm taking Kansas on that one. So I think BYU comes out fighting again, but I think the Kansas team is better than we give them credit for, and I think they're building off of last year finally. So Rock Chalk Hawk.
AJ?
Kansas. Going Kansas. Even though I do like Keen Solvis, I like him. I think he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the country. I gotta go Kansas. I just think BYU, yeah, I agree. They should have won versus the Arkansas game, but they did. But the reason I'm a little hesitant because Kansas had a close game against Nevada. I was kind of expecting a blowout, and then against Illinois, it was kind of dominating them, kind of letting them get back in the game. They still won it, but kind of let them get back in the game. But I'm still gonna go Kansas. I trust them. I trust their defense more than BYU, so definitely going Kansas.
Will this be the first time I go alone? Because I'm going BYU.
Ooh.
I just think that BYU can pull it off against a team like Kansas. Not saying that Kansas is a bad team, but with how BYU's been playing so far, they've been playing just good enough to edge it out over a victory in their past 3 games. So give me BYU here.
BYU has just been finding wacky ways to win games, and I'm almost there to picking BYU, but I really like Kansas. I think that offense is just too explosive, and they play way too fast for BYU. So I was almost there with you, Jacob, but I'm going Kansas with these two.
How dare you?
All right, next game here we got Texas Tech, a team that is, well, I would say unexpectedly, but it's pretty expected if you follow this team, has underperformed from where people thought they would be. Some people even thought they could win the Big 12, but not the case early
Fools.
on in this year. West Virginia, on the other hand, they had that crushing defeat against Penn State that most people saw coming, and then the last 2 weeks have played inspired behind Patton, or not Patton or Ducey. That was the Pitt coach, James Neal. That is the correct coach. There we are. So they seem to be hitting their stride. Plus, this game's in Morgantown. However, the line still favorites the Red Raiders. What do you think about this one, Chief?
See, you know me. I want to take Texas Tech, but after their only win being against Texas, I don't even know what Tar is. So we're gonna Tarleton. Yeah, Tarleton. Yee! Listen, you lost to Oregon by 8. You blew that one. You blew the Wyoming game. What makes us think you're going to go into West Virginia and win and be able to hold the lead on the road? Because you're not. Because the Mountaineers are going to come back on you, and you're going to lose another comeback game this year. Yada, yada, yada. Go Mountaineers in Morgantown.
AJ?
I agree with you. I'm going on West Virginia. I mean, like Texas Tech, like y'all were like close to beat Oregon. Ooh, y'all beat the Tar. I didn't even know who that was either, really. And he lost to Wyoming. So I agree with you to what he said. Like, what makes you think you're gonna come and just win versus West Virginia? So definitely going West Virginia, but I think it will be a close game, like really close, like one, like three, like 1 or 2 or 3 points. So I'm going West Virginia though.
Man. I'm also going to go West Virginia. Good old WV. I don't have faith in Texas Tech. Much like people should not have faith in them for any season, but I don't see this Texas Tech team holding out the West Virginia's offense, and I certainly don't see them beating West Virginia's defense. So, West Virginia all the way.
All right. So all week I was gonna pick West Virginia. I was. But then I thought about this, and hear me out. Texas Tech played Oregon close at home.
Mm-hmm.
They played Wyoming close on the road. They should have won. They finally get the win against Tarleton, which again, I know it's not a great school, but take it for what it is. Sometimes those small school wins are what the doctor orders for a team that cannot put it together. Not to mention, I don't like West Virginia. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is about West Virginia. There's just something there that I don't like. I will pick you occasionally, but not this week. give me Texas Tech. I think they bounce back from those, disparaging, awful losses, and they get a much needed victory here on the road in Morgantown. Shoot them up, Texas Tech.
The only bouncing back they'll have is when they bounce off the turf. Let's be honest.
Oh, jeez. All right. Lots of love there for Texas Tech.
That's funny.
All right, moving on to the next game here, and man, you're not gonna like this if you're a Tennessee fan, so you might want to cover your ears. You got manhandled by Florida. Yeah, that doesn't
Great.
help your case. All I kept hearing from Tennessee fans is, "We're back. We're gonna make a statement this year. SEC East is ours." You couldn't beat Florida. How are you going to beat Georgia? We'll see in a few weeks when that matchup happens. Meanwhile, UTSA, the Roadrunners, comes creeping in nice and slow. Tennessee might be a little not all there after, losing in the swamp. They're looking to pull a massive upset in Neyland. Tennessee's a 21.5-point favorite, but I urge you guys on this pick, be careful. What do you think, Juge?
So, while heeding your warning, I'm going to say I don't care. I think Tennessee is going to come out angry, and they're going to play a lot better football than they did last week. Plus, they're at home in Neyland. They're not in the swamp, so I don't really care. UTSA is going to come out fighting for a little bit, but at the end of the day, the Volunteers are going to walk away with this one.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm going to say say Tennessee, you guys suck. Blowout win 50-0. No kidding. I'm just playing. I was just
You had me there. I was like, wow.
yeah. No, I'm going Tennessee here. Yeah, they lost to Florida, but I think everybody expected them to win Florida. They haven't won at Florida in 20 years. So I think a lot of people was expecting them to lose, at least I was. So definitely going Tennessee here. UTSA lost to Army, man. That's not good. Because Army sucks. Everyone knows they suck. So yeah, going Tennessee here, blowout victory. Say like big blowout victory. And they're gonna be upset. They're gonna come out with some vengeance. So definitely going Tennessee.
As big as the Oregon blowout in week 1?
No.
No.
Not even
Alright.
Close.
At least they
Close.
don't have a duck. At least they don't have a duck to do push-ups. So
Yeah.
they have volunteers
Yeah,
to do
you're
push-ups.
right.
I don't know what that's supposed to be, but I'm also going to take Tennessee here. I just think, like you said, how they lost last week against Florida. I don't think losing one game against a bad team determines your value in whether you can pull any wins from now on. I think
Unless you're Michigan, but yeah.
You're a Giants fan, so you can shush. I think Tennessee's going to bounce back here with a win against UTSA, and yeah, I'm going with AJ. It's going to be a blowout.
Oh man, what have I done? UTSA fans, I'm sorry. I think I hurt y'all saying the warning part. Okay.
He believes in us? Nope.
I think UTSA is going to come out in this game and they're going to keep it close. I don't know where this blowout thing is stemming from. 3 guys have all said blowouts. I don't think so. I think UTSA, because they have not gotten blown out yet. Their biggest loss was 8 points to Army. And everybody's talking like, oh, it's over. Their season's done. Throw in the towel. I think Tennessee wins, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Tennessee escapes Neyland with the victory. It's going to be kind of a nail biter till the finish. But yeah, give me Tennessee. All right, moving on to the next one. Speaking of blowouts, Oklahoma State got blown out by South Alabama, and Oklahoma State, I just want to give you a severe talking to for just a moment. You're supposed to lose to the actual Alabama by a lot, not South Alabama. I think they got confused at who they were playing last week. It sure looked like it. So I just thought I'd remind you guys. No, that was the wrong Alabama to get blown out by. Meanwhile, Iowa State lost two close games in a row 2 weeks ago to Iowa, and then last week 10-7 to the MAC in Ohio. Both of these teams desperately need a bounce back win. Iowa State is favored by 3.5. Chooch, will Dan Campbell get the much needed win to keep his job and keep him off the hot seat at Iowa State? What do you think?
Can we talk about another person that should be on a hot seat? Is Mike Gundy here? Like, what are you doing, dude? How? You're Oklahoma State. You're not supposed to look like this until at least week 8. Come on. You're not supposed to do this till you play at least TCU, Texas Tech, or Kansas State, or Oklahoma. That's when you're supposed to look like garbage. Not now against South Alabama. Come on. But with that being said, I don't have faith in Cyclones offense. I think Oklahoma State figures it out and does their thing. Oklahoma State wins this one.
State. I don't know too much about these teams. I know they're really not that good teams, but yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna go Oklahoma State. I just don't really believe in Iowa State's defense or offense, honestly. So definitely going Oklahoma here.
Yeah. Put me on the Oklahoma train. Put me on the Coach Prime train because I am definitely going Oklahoma.
Wait, what?
Wait, Coach Prime. What am I
Coach
thinking?
Prime, what?
Yeah, what are you
I'm
talking
stupid.
about? Get him out of here, chat. Chat, get him out.
I was thinking about Colorado because I just seen an ESPN article notification about Colorado. So yeah,
I've done that before. It's live TV. Well, not TV, but it's live.
Oklahoma State Cowboys. You gonna take it or whatever they are? Are they the Cowboys or are they?
Yeah, they're
something else?
Cowboys.
Okay.
Cowboys.
They're
All
the
right.
weird-
Let me save this game here. I think Iowa State, feels an urgency to play for each other and to keep Dan Campbell. But I think Oklahoma State feels a bigger urgency that, like, guys, we just got beat to shit by South Alabama. And I think that fire drives them. They win for Gundy, and I think realistically, I mean, that guy could lose the rest of his games. I don't think they would get rid of him, but give me Oklahoma State here. I think they have a huge bounce back after that embarrassing loss. All right, next game here we got, and this is the game that
this is
Jacob
the
was
actual Coach
referring
Prime
to.
game. So yeah, sorry about that.
The Colorado
Trying to jump the gun a bit.
Buffaloes.
I'm excited for this one.
You can tell, man, he's a big believer in Coach Prime. Colorado going on the road to Autzen Stadium to take on the Oregon Ducks. Vegas, again, sleeping on Colorado, giving Deion Sanders more motivation for this team to make it personal. Oregon is a 21-point favorite. This is a top 20 game. They are a 21-point favorite at home. Not a lot of love for the Buffs, but they have strived in this situation. When nobody gave them a shot against TCU, they upset TCU. When people gave them too much respect, they almost lost to Colorado State. It's a weird balancing beam with this Colorado team. Oregon, on the other hand, with Bo Nix and Dan Lanning, has been playing pretty good football minus the Texas Tech scare. Chooch, I know you follow these two teams a little bit closer than most. Where are you going on this one?
So nothing. I really want to say Colorado's going to come out and they're going to beat Oregon, but I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give everyone a list of reasons here whether or not. First off, you're in Oregon. That's no TCU. That's no playing in Boulder when you play in Nebraska. This is Oregon. Your coaches were out there with speakers around you playing music all week in practice so you can get used to being deaf and screaming everything. This place gets bumping at night. not night, sorry, in the afternoon. This place gets going.
2:30
I'm gonna
close.
tell you what, them Ducks. Well, it's 2:30. It's whatever. But Oregon, come out and please do what old Oregon would do, and just games like this, they would keep it close for a quarter and then go, okay, pedal to the floor, we're gone. You have the quarterback for it, just do it. Colorado keeps it close for a half. Oregon wins this one though. I'm not saying Colorado gets disrespected in this game. I think Oregon's more prepared for this situation. Like Colorado's going to come out, not having Travis Hunter hurts.
Oh yeah, this is a dope. Bad attitude by Colorado. Like, bro, I've been saying it since the TCU win. They lost that game because the quarterback sucked for TCU. If he didn't throw those picks, at least if he didn't throw one, they would have won that. Against Nebraska, they lost because the quarterback kept fumbling, three or four fumbles. And they have a close game, 2 overtime game against Colorado State, and it should have been a blowout. And no Travis Hunter. They're not a good team. They should be ranked, but they shouldn't be even 19. They should be like 20, 25. Oregon, Bo Nix hasn't thrown a pick. He's been playing at a Heisman type of level. It won't be a close game, especially with no Travis Hunter. Oregon did have a close game with Texas Tech, but I don't care. They're gonna win this game. Blowout easily. Shador's finna get it. He finna hear the crowd. This team is finna come and get blown out, Colorado. So definitely going to Oregon, no question.
All right.
I feel weird. I feel weird going for Colorado. I do.
You should feel weird.
You can put me on the Coach Prime hype train because I really do believe in this Colorado team. I think after the Travis Hunter stuff as well, I just know that Coach Prime can deliver a speech, a Ray Lewis type of speech that will get every player inspired to beat this dominating Oregon team that's been just murdering every team, except that last game against Texas Tech that Oregon had.
2 games ago.
Two games ago, which I think that Coach Prime can exploit the negative things that happened in that game against Oregon. So put me with Colorado here.
Oh yeah, he'll give a speech, all right, but it won't be. It won't work. It won't work. It won't work.
Oh man, Jacob, man, I want to give you a virtual hug right now. I feel bad, but yeah, no, I'm with these two again. Oregon.
I'm a Lions fan. I'm used to it.
I'm gonna go with Oregon and Bo Nix here. Bo Nix has been waiting to have a shot like this in the Pac-12, and I think he absolutely abuses this Colorado defense. Don't be shocked if they give up 55 plus in this game. So give me the Ducks. I don't think blowout when I say that. I think it'll be a shootout, but ultimately Oregon pulls away, and they do not cover the 21-point spread. I could see this game going like 55-40 final.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I would say I do think Oregon will win, but I ain't gonna say a blowout. I'd say because I think just Colorado's defense is just bad.
Yeah.
It is not good. They don't really get pressure on the quarterback. So I would say probably 50-30. But yeah, Oregon for sure. Oregon for sure.
I thought you were changing pick there. I was like, what?
Nah.
Man, the doubting really changes mine. Doubting the team that he's going to pick for really changes mine.
Well, speaking of doubt, there is quite a lot of doubt in this next matchup here. The Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets head in to take on Wake Forest. And the reason why I say doubt, Wake Forest barely eked by Old Dominion. They were on the ropes for a majority of that game and then found a second wind and were able to continue their perfect season. Georgia Tech, on the other hand, oh man, Ole Miss all night just destroyed this Georgia Tech secondary. Jackson Dart had a pretty great game. With all that being considered, though, Wake Forest is only a 3.5-point favorite here. The story you'd have to imagine is Georgia Tech's defense going to rebound and make some crucial plays to keep the Georgia Tech offense in the game, or will it be the Wake Forest passing attack that ends up winning this one here? Chooch, first crack at this.
I think Georgia Tech's offense is. I think their defense needs. Their offense is more explosive than it has been in recent memory. Obviously, new coaches, new programs, new things go in, guys get better. Georgia Tech's finally playing like a football team now, and I really like King. The kid's got 9 touchdowns, 1 pick. Kid takes care of the football. Is a gunslinger. This is the kid that should have started last year. I'm pretty sure he's a sophomore this year, if I remember correctly. Hold on, let me double check that.
He transferred
Yeah,
in from A&M.
transferred in from A&M. So this kid can play. We know that. So he's showing up, and I think Georgia Tech's led on this kid's arm, and I think they got this one close.
Wait, Choo or Georgia Tech?
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I'm going Wake Forest. Georgia Tech, man, that blowout last week that was bad. That was bad. I mean, but you know what? No, I'm going Georgia Tech. It was against Ole Miss. It was against Ole Miss, and they're ranked. They're a good team. They're a great team. Wake Forest last week, against Old Dominion, that kind of put my hopes down because that should have been a blowout win, especially coming off the Vandy game and the Elon game. So I'm actually going Georgia Tech here with Chooch. I see this definitely being a good game though. But Georgia Tech though, I thought about it clearly. I had to go Georgia Tech.
I'm also gonna go Georgia Tech here. I just Wake Forest, they've been doing okay. They're not doing amazing right now. They're not doing too terrible either, but I just think Georgia Tech can outplay Wake Forest on almost every play for this game. It will be close, closer than most people think, but I see Georgia Tech pulling out here, getting the win.
All right. Chooch stole my reasoning. Haynes King is the answer to this team. Usually Jacob's the one doing that, but it was Chooch this week.
Kind of upset I didn't get that.
So yeah, give me the Yellow Jackets. It will be close. Wake Forest, if anything that we've seen this week is, they don't go down without a fight. They're going to keep fighting this game, but ultimately Haynes Kings just makes a huge play at the end. And that's going to be, the Yellow Jackets over the Demon Deeks. All right, next one here, we got another Pac-12 showdown. Take note, twice. It doesn't happen very often, let alone both teams, or actually, excuse me, a third, let me correct that, third Pac-12 game with 2 ranked teams. Take a moment to just breathe that in for a second. Oregon State has been playing pretty phenomenal ball. DJ Ugandale has had a resurgence at the quarterback position. He finally looks in stride and good under this Oregon State team. Washington State, on the other hand, they have the better win. They ended up beating Wisconsin week 2, 31-22. Not to mention it being a home field advantage for the Cougars. Oregon State's a 3-point favorite here, despite all that. A lot of faith in the Beavs. Chooch, I know you like some of the Beavers' production, especially going to the NFL. Where are you headed in this one?
Oh, listen, I'm going to straight up just say Wazoo. I think Wazoo's got a better built team. I think Cameron Ward is the all-around leader of this team, and his offensive output helps tremendously. His passing, he takes care of the ball. Both Washington schools have great quarterbacks. So Washington State beat the Cougars, beat the Beavers here, but Beavs keep it close. I think this is when we see DJ kind of do his thing that we know him for.
AJ?
Okay. Dude, these are like 2 of the teams I really don't know, and they're ranked that much. But I think I'm going Washington State. I feel like Cameron Ward, that dude, he's just carrying that team. And I do agree, DJ. I don't know how to say his last name.
Ugandale.
Craziest names I've ever heard. So he has been playing good. Ever since he left Clemson, obviously transferred. Got Oregon doing good, but I'm going Washington State here, man. I just think Cameron Ward, he's playing great. He hasn't thrown an interception, almost 1,000 yards already. So definitely going Washington State here.
All right, I'm actually going to disagree with both of you. I think Oregon State is going to beat Washington State. I think it's going to be close. Like, I don't think it's going to be too offsided on either team. I think it's going to be a close game, maybe decided by a late field goal or a touchdown. But, yeah, this is going to go to Oregon.
All right.
Oregon State.
I was gonna say, don't trigger the fan base. Don't say Oregon.
Even if they have fans.
Man, Jacob, I'm gonna go with him this time. Last 2 times I went with the 2, but I'm gonna go with Oregon State as well. I really love what DJ Ugandale is doing. Not to mention, I like the run game too. They kind of spread the love there. And Damian Martinez is my favorite back out of the bunch. He just runs with an anger. Watch this kid run. I think they end up pulling up the shocker here on the road. It'll be extremely close, but I think the lasting impact is the run game for Oregon State, and that is where they get the win. Also, I think the run, sets up Ugandale for some really nice passes as well. All right, next game here, the Arkansas Razorbacks. As I mentioned previously in the show, they got embarrassed, humiliated to the newly acquired Big 12 team in the BYU Cougars. But let's just say the road doesn't get to a cupcake next. If anything, it's a stop in Death Valley against the Tigers from LSU. And to make matters worse, it's a night game in Death Valley. If you know anything about LSU football, that is a phrase you never want to hear. A night game in Baton Rouge. However, Arkansas, last time they were in a night game in Baton Rouge, they ended up winning in overtime on a last-second field goal. Well, I shouldn't say last second, because in overtime there is no time. However, LSU returned the favor in Fayetteville and ended up winning a close one on a cold day by 3. The last 2 games, both decided by 3 points. Vegas says it's going to be different this time around. LSU, a heavy home favorite, 17.5. Jaden Daniels finally looks like he's in stride. Malik Neighbors and him went off in Starkville a week ago. Chooch, where are you going with this one?
One thing this game is that Mid-State game is a rivalry, a tightly contested one at that. And last year, this is the game where Jaden Daniels decided, hey, I could just phone it in the rest of the year, and just hung up on the rest of the offense and said, okay, I'll see y'all after the Florida State game next year. So, but I'm going to take LSU to win this one. I think just Arkansas is a little defeated, a little lost, a little numb compared to that loss last week. So I think we pounce on them early and we take this one, especially because we're in Death Valley. So, go Tigers.
AJ?
All right, I'm going. Oh, I hate going against KJ Jefferson because I like him. I love him a lot, but I'm going LSU. They bounced back from the Florida State like good, like the bounce back. Both the games have been good, so I'm definitely going LSU here. Danes was playing great. Leads the team in rushing yards, and he leads them in passing. So, yeah, I'm definitely going LSU here. I think it's not a close game either. It's like 20 plus they win by. So, yeah, LSU.
Yeah, this game, again, this is one of the games where if I don't go for LSU, I'll get shot by one of you guys. So, very outmatched with being a Michigan fan when you guys are all LSU fans except for AJ.
I was going to say AJ.
Sorry, we know good football.
Anyway, LSU does win this, though, however much. Arkansas wants to win it. LSU does not. gonna let that happen in any way, shape, or form. They're gonna let those dreams. They're gonna let those
Slip
dreams
away.
die. Yep,
Mhm.
just slowly die.
Man, this game is always tough for me to pick because, I do respect Arkansas. This rivalry has a tendency of going back and forth, like Chooch said. Um, I think Arkansas comes in motivated and they're going to play really well. I mean, KJ Jefferson's one heck of a player, not to mention their O line. I know it was a little disappointing last week. I think they mean business, and this is a tough test for Brian Kelly in company. But ultimately, I think the big change in the big standout in this game, I'm gonna go Logan Diggs for LSU. He has been running incredible when they got him involved against Southern and then against Mississippi State. So I think that's the story of this game. Logan Diggs has a tremendous game, and LSU gets a win over Arkansas. It won't be a blowout, but it will be, maybe a 10, 13-point win for the Tigers.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Well, just for that impersonation, now I'm saying an 11-point win. Way to go. You knocked off 2 points. Blame
Go Tigers.
Jacob.
Go Tigers. Go Tigers. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
All right. Moving
Now
on
they're
to
in the
the
negatives.
Moving on to the next one here, we got a rematch from a year ago. Ohio State travels in to South Bend, Indiana to take on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Let's just say Notre Dame, this is probably the biggest chance that they've had to solidify themselves as a legitimate contender. They need this game more than Ohio State does, and they're in pretty good standing to do so. Sam Hartman with this offense has looked pretty good. Granted, they have not played the greatest opponents. Their biggest game came against NC State this year, and they handled business on the road in a rainy environment. Ohio State, on the other hand, they really haven't played anybody. Indiana was their toughest game, and they won by 20 on the road there. But as we have seen, Indiana's not a very good team. Vegas says about this game in South Bend, they say Ohio State's a 3-point favorite, and the main thing to watch is Sam Hartman versus the Ohio State defense. Chooch, I know you're very high on Sam Hartman. Can he get it done against Ohio State? What do you say?
There's a lot of differences from last year to this year. Obviously, the big one being Sam Hartman being the quarterback in Notre Dame. And simply, if they had a guy that can throw the ball last year, they probably beat Ohio State. So on that statement alone, I'm taking the Fighting Irish here. Listen, Ohio State, I think it's just 1 year you're going to lose to these guys, but Fighting Irish win this one. Ohio State, it's not going to be a blowout. It's going to be close, but the Fighting Irish find a way to overcome their awful luck in big games, and they win this one.
Man, I'm so proud of you. So proud
AJ?
of you.
Yeah, I'm going Notre. I'm going Notre Dame. Ohio State, they just like Sam Hartman's gonna torch this defense. Ohio State hasn't had a good defense in I don't know how long. Multiple seasons. That's really why they don't win. I think I like Henderson, and they got Marvin Harrison Jr., best receiver in college football today, but that defense is not good. Yeah, I'm going with the Irish here. I'm expecting Sam Hartman to have a big game. Hasn't thrown an interception, already over 1,000 yards. I mean, he has that extra game, but than most teams. But still, he's playing really good. So I'm going with Notre Dame. We're going with the Irish.
Man, I'm so proud of both of you. Finally realizing how terrible Ohio State is. Anyway,
Their defense, not their offense. Their defense. Yeah.
Anyway, I think this is going to be one of the first times we'll see a quarterback blitz a defense instead of the other way around. Ohio State is going to be obliterated by Notre Dame. Obliterated.
Interesting. I think it'll be a close game, but okay.
If Ohio State was facing a garbage team, I was still gonna pick against Ohio State because they're just horrible. Notre Dame, I'm so happy I'm finally getting an agreement on Ohio State losing from Chooch and AJ. I'm so happy.
Oh man. Let's stop the feeling good here, just for a
How
moment.
dare you? You
So,
heartless, heartless
Notre
man.
Dame. Let's look at this game here. Notre Dame. I mean, they got Sam Hartman. They got a really good running back in Estime. They got a really good defense. They're at home. How could you pick against that? But I am. I'm going to go with Ohio State to win this game. Notre Dame cannot win a big game. This has been proven. And I think this is a big time game for Ohio State. I think this is kind of where the gears turn and they realize, hey, we've just been kind of coasting through the last few weeks. We can actually, start showing off our potential to be a threat in the Big Ten. So give me Ohio State in this one to knock off the Irish in South Bend.
Ohio State's gonna. This is gonna be horrible. This is gonna be bad for Ohio State fans.
Homer.
I'm surprised if there's any Ohio State fans after this game.
Jesus, Michigan fans, dude.
Right?
Jesus.
We're the best. I know, right?
All right, moving on to the next one. Let's come back to the SEC again because it is just so much fun and it truly does mean more. Just look at the last few national championships. Mississippi State takes on South Carolina, and as I previously mentioned, Mississippi State got hung out to get their ass kicked against LSU. The game was not close. They were held to 7 offensive yards in a half. That's impressive. Meanwhile, South Carolina, a heartbreaker against Georgia. They were up at half, and then the wheels fell off for Spencer Rattler in company. But Shane Beamer says, the best for this team is yet to come. He's still very believing in the South Carolina team, minus, of course, the 2 losses that came pretty early to some pretty good teams. Mississippi State, on the other hand, how do they respond after the ass kicking that they received? Chooch, do you have faith in this Mississippi State team?
Yes, but South Carolina's home. Beamer ball plays a lot better at home, so I'm going to take the Gamecocks in this one.
Ooh.
All right, listen up. I've noticed you don't doubt Spencer Rattler, bro. I don't give a crap, bro. You do not doubt him. You do not doubt him. I'm going with South Carolina. I know they've, not looked good, especially that offensive line. Huge reason why they've been losing. But I'm taking my guy, Spencer Rattler, to beat Mississippi State. So I'm going South Carolina.
All right. I'm gonna go Mississippi State here. I just think they're an overall better team than South Carolina. I do think it's gonna be a close game, but not as close as people think it's gonna be. Like maybe a touchdown or 2 away.
Rolling with Will Rogers and that crew. You're gonna be on an island here. I'm gonna go South Carolina in this game because I believe South Carolina is they're gonna find their stride. When they find their stride, they're a scary team, and I think that's this is the pickup game for them, especially being home in front of that rowdy crowd. So yeah, give me the Gamecocks. They win this one by 20.
Ooh, okay.
All right, moving on to the next one here. North Carolina and Pitt. Pitt has had a terrible start to the season. Their only win came against Wofford, and then just back-to-back losses, especially last week against West Virginia in the backyard brawl. Let's just say nothing is making sense for the Pitt Panthers. North Carolina, on the other hand, they've been taking care of business. They had a very close game against Appalachian State, but then after that, they came out and destroyed Minnesota, which isn't far from what many expected and expect here. Chooch, obviously, I know you're high on Drake May, but is there a chance that they slip up and lose this one on the road?
No, listen, I respect Pitt, but you only scored 6 against West Virginia. It's looking like it's going to be rolling downhill here. Now, I'm not saying you can't beat North Carolina because you're Pitt and you can do whatever you want and you're going to do whatever you want. So you might show up this game and win it. But end of the day, Tar Heels offense, too much for the Pitt defense. Drake May back on track. Expected to be 7 TDs to 4 picks by the end of this game. His ratio. Drake May, Heels, big one, easy one. Send them.
All right.
Yeah, North Carolina, like it's not even close. Pitt has sucked this year. I don't feel bad because a lot of people do a little. I thought they would do decent, but they're looking trash this year. I love Drake May, second best quarterback in the fucking country. I don't care what anyone says. Second best quarterback in the country. And he's determined, and I think he's going to determine to beat Pitt badly. So I'm going blowout here, like about 25-30. So definitely going North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm taking UNC as well. I just in seasons like this where Pittsburgh their position is at where they're just being horrible right now, and they look themselves and like, okay, are we gonna keep on doing this? Are we gonna keep on losing and sucking every single week, or are we gonna make a bounce back? And I don't think they're ready to make a bounce back, especially against a team like UNC. So going UNC with this one.
All right, I'm going to keep this nice, short, and sweet. I picked Pitt. They lost. I picked Pitt again. They lost.
They lost.
I'm going to go North Carolina because I don't want to lose again. So North Carolina and Drake May. Destruction at Pitt. All right, next game here. We got a Big 12 game. Again, it's so weird to say Big 12 with UCF, but they are in the Big 12 all of a sudden as they go on the road to take on Kansas State, who lost off of a last-second 61-yard bomb of a kick. That's just, it's got to be somewhat of heartbreak for Kansas State. They're used to losing in that fashion, but I will say this, when they come back after that loss, they usually destroy the team they play next. So pray for UCF if that is any indicator. Kansas State ultimately is a 4-point favorite here. Chooch, will the Wildcats get back on track, or will it be a big-time win for the Knights?
Yeah. Wildcats are going to come out here. Listen, I picked Kansas State last week, and like you said, bomb field goal, lost in the game. But at the end of the day, Kansas State, you should have won it. Just going to stay that way. Kansas State bounces back. Like Cole said, and he took what I was going to say anyway, so Wildcats.
I had to get
I'm going Wildcats. I'm going Wildcats too. I love me some Will Howard. Great quarterback. Yeah, they did lose last week. I didn't watch the game, but I did see that field goal that they hit. Crazy field goal, I'm not gonna lie. But I think they're gonna come back and honestly blow fucking UCF out. I mean, UCF they're decent, but they're nowhere.
They're gonna do what?
State, so they're gonna blow them out. They're gonna blow them out. They're gonna blow UCF out. So I'm definitely going Kansas State here, easily. Don't doubt Will Howard ever.
Yeah.
Don't doubt him.
I'm going to continue that. Do not doubt Will Howard because Kansas State is going to annihilate UCF. Kansas State, they're not the best team. They're good. They're just not the greatest right now. But UCF is a lot worse than what people are realizing. So yeah, take Kansas State for me.
Man, what is it with you guys today in blowouts? Like,
we just love blowing outs.
There's been like 7 games to where blowout. My gosh.
Hey, I think they'll score a field goal. Like, I think they'll score a field goal. That's about it. Though.
Yeah, I consider blowouts like 3+ scores. I consider that 3+ scores. So I think Kansas will win by 3+ scores.
All right. I'm gonna go with Kansas State too, but definitely not by a blowout. UCF is a good team. Gus Malzahn's not a bad coach. Um, I just think Kansas State they're mad. I mean, how would you feel getting beat by a 61-yard kick? I'd be furious. So, I think Kansas State, not to mention, Will Howard's really good, but also that Kansas State defense does not get enough praise. So I think Kansas State's defense gets the job done, and they pick up a good win here. All right, moving on to the next one, we got a Big Ten battle as the Hawkeyes of Iowa come into town to Unhappy Valley when they lose, Happy Valley when they win. And right now, the Valley is very happy. They're undefeated, both teams are, but they've done it in different ways. Penn State's main way of winning has been blowing out the other team, as you guys like to put it. Drew Aller has been the main star of the Penn State show. James Franklin seems to be figuring it out with this team. Iowa, on the other hand, it's been defense, it's been special teams, it's been close and gritty. Can that work in a game like this in Happy Valley? I guess we will see. Chooch, what do you think?
This game's gonna be closer than people think it is. Listen, yeah, cool. Penn State's offense is great, but all right, they beat West Virginia early in the year. Cool. Yep. Whatever. Blew out Delaware, but they kind of weren't blowing them out. They were kind of struggling a little bit there. Delaware shot themselves in the foot a lot, and then you beat Illinois. Cool. Meanwhile, Iowa, I mean, they had Utah State and Iowa State, which is a rivalry already early. Iowa's defense is going to keep this one close. I think the offense is good enough to move the ball well, but at the end of the day, Penn State's close enough wins them this one. Nittany Lions. Meow.
Meow.
Yeah. I'm going with the Lions. Penn State's offense to me is good. It's just the defense. That's where I'm like, But I don't think Iowa's offense is great. I think their defense is good. So I think Iowa's defense will keep them close in the game. But I'm going Penn State here. I kind of agree with you. Hasn't really had too much competition other than Illinois, really. They won 30-13, but still, I'm going with the Lions here. I do think this will be a close game. People I think it'll be like 20-10 or like 20-30, something like that. So I'm going with the Lions here.
All right. I'm gonna go with what's on my hat. I'm also gonna go with the Lions on Penn State. I just don't see Iowa. I do see their defense holding them close, like how Chooch and AJ said. The defense holds them close, but Penn State scoring, that's not going to. Iowa's defense is not going to stop Penn State too much. So, yeah, go Lions. Yeah.
I'm going to start my pick with an age-old question. How do you beat an offense that cannot score? The answer is pretty obvious. You score. Yeah. So that's what Penn State's going to do in this game. Iowa's offense, they're not good enough to win a game like this. So I do think Cade McNamara is going to have some interesting play and kind of keep this game interesting for some time. But ultimately, Drew Aller and this Penn State team is just too good for Iowa. Not to mention they're at home. That Penn State's going to be rocking like they always are. So, yeah, give me the Nittany Lions. All right, next game here, we got a battle of undefeateds that are ironically both Tigers. Memphis goes on the road to play Missouri, and let's just say things are good in Missouri, riding high off of that big win against Kansas State, as we just mentioned not too long ago. And Memphis, there's not a lot of respect for Memphis. They're undefeated, yet if you look at the spread, you're thinking, oh man, they must be like a 2-loss team at this point with this amount of disrespect. Keep in mind, folks, Memphis pulls off weird upsets when nobody is watching. And that is kind of this scenario. So, Chooch, with all that being considered, is this the time for Memphis to pull a shocker?
No, I think Mizzou's riding high after last week, and I think they come out. Now, mind you, Memphis keeps this one close for a while, but at the end of the day, Missouri Tigers come out and they take this one in the fourth quarter. Mizzou.
All right, AJ.
Okay, I'm going with. I think Missouri, they played good, but I just feel like their defense is like, eh. And I feel like Memphis offense, probably can expose that. So I'm gonna go Memphis here. I do think it will be like a really close game though, but Memphis, looking Memphis.
Yeah, I'm taking Missouri. I just don't think Memphis. Yeah, they are undefeated, and they do get weird upsets when no one's watching. So if you're a Memphis fan, don't watch this game so that they can have a chance of winning. But Missouri is going to stomp them out. Not a blowout. I won't say a blowout just to not upset you, Cole. But
Thank you.
He means a blowout.
no, it's not going to be a blowout, but it is going to be a fun game.
All right. Man, I hate to pick against Memphis because I know that they have a really good shot of pulling off this upset, but I'm gonna go with Missouri just because Eli Drinkowitz has done a phenomenal job with this team. He has brought hope into Missouri football, which they haven't had since Chase Daniels back in 2010. Um, I I think they keep it going, and they don't stumble here against Memphis. It will be close, but ultimately, Missouri's just too good, too talented. All right, moving on to the game that everybody's been waiting for. The Ole Miss Rebels
Indeed.
go into T-Town to take on the Tide of Alabama. And let's just say these two coaches, they might know each other a time or two. Lane Kiffin taking on Nick Saban. Now, most people are under the assumption, especially after the last few years, that Kiffin cannot beat Nick Saban. However, times are looking to change a little bit. Alabama has never looked this disoriented. They barely beat USF a week ago. They lost to Texas before that, and siren flags are waving over the Tide in Tuscaloosa. With all that being considered, and the flip side of the coin, Ole Miss has taken care of business against everyone they've versed. They took care of Tulane, who was a ranked quality team, and then against Georgia Tech, which some people thought might have been a trap game, they took care of business and ended up winning that one and pulling away late. All that being considered, Jalen Milroe is the starter for the Tide. That is confirmed from Saban himself. Jackson Dart, of course, leading the Ole Miss Rebels. 7 touchdowns, 1 interception, and over 800 yards. Let's say the offense for Ole Miss is booming. The defense is the question mark for the Rebels. For Alabama, it's the complete opposite. The defense looks good. The offense and the multiple quarterbacks is the scare for the Tide. Chooch, you get the first crack at this big matchup. Where are you going?
So something tells me there's everything's wrong in Bama when they only scored 17 against USF. That's the team Nick Saban would have scored 40 on literally last year. So, but hey, I don't want to hear it. I called this beginning of the year that we were going to see the chinks in the armor start to fall. And what are we doing? Seeing the chinks in the armor start to fall. Ole Miss walks into T-Town, and now Bama loses another one at home. But this one's a rivalry, and it's a little bit closer of a game, not 10 points. The Rebs offense is going to give this Bama defense fits. I'm taking the Rebels.
All right, AJ, I know you're a little close to home on this one, so where are you going?
I mean, I'm going Bama, obviously, but I won't be surprised if we lose. We just our quarterback situation has actually like effed us up. Like none of these quarterbacks have shown they have well, I go say they haven't shown they have the capability of starting, but they haven't shown that they can be clutch. This is a pretty good team, but definitely going Bama. We got Jalen Miro back. Um, so hopefully, I like our defense. I think we can definitely hold Ole Miss to
What are
Isaiah
you
Bond.
saying? You
Yeah, it sounds like you're talking down a hallway right now. Can you just repeat what you said
Oh,
10 seconds ago?
my bad, my bad. Hold on, let me see. Oh, I forgot. But yeah, I feel like we're gonna win, and we're gonna blow out. I mean, we're not gonna blow them out, but I feel like it'll be a big win.
Man,
Big
that
win.
blowout is just in your head right now. Just that word blowout
Yeah.
stuck in
No,
your head.
I think it'll be a big one. Our third defense will clutch up, but it really depends on Jalen Milroe though. If he comes out and plays like he did week 1, I think we have a good chance of winning. But if he comes and plays how we did week 2, then it's gonna be a struggle.
Yeah, I'm taking Ole Miss with this one. This Saban stuff, I think Ole Miss is gonna get their win against Saban and Alabama. It's not gonna be a blowout. I won't say that. Shoot, Cole. So don't
Thank
worry.
you.
It will be close, however. I just think Alabama, with that quarterback situation that AJ pointed out, it's going to be a little hindrance, and it's going to give that leg up to Ole Miss's defense that Cole even pointed out. Said that it's a little more. They could want more with the defense, so that's definitely going to help out with this Alabama. Well, this win over Alabama. Yeah, Ole Miss.
All right. Oh man. Okay. Biggest part of the show here. Let's just say what it is. I picked Alabama in this exact spot 2 weeks ago. They lost. Texas absolutely hammered them home, dismantled the Tide. Sorry, AJ, I had to be blunt. um,
He's used to it.
That's okay.
however,
Shut up.
however, I'm gonna say this: Ole Miss has a trend going to where they're good for the early bits of the week, and then they meet a team that they could beat or could lose to realistically, and they lose. They have never won a game of this magnitude under Lane Kiffin yet. They have not beaten Alabama yet under Kiffin. With all that being considered, I'm rolling with the Tide and I'm going with AJ here because
Yes. Nice.
I don't think that Lane Kiffin can beat Nick Saban.
Oh.
And I think
Oh.
I think ultimately the defense for Alabama holds out, and I think Ole Miss, they're going to score points in this game. They might even get up by like 17 or 18, somewhere around that, and then the Saban effect turns on to where they come back. The defense makes some huge plays. Jalen Milroe finally finds himself. This offense starts rolling again, and yeah, give me Alabama in this one. All right, so that is going to do it for our show. I really appreciate all of you tuning in. Thank you so much. And AJ, thank you for joining us. If you would like to shout out where these people can find you, please do.
You can find me on Instagram. All Star AJ87. Same thing as always, and don't be afraid to shoot me a text. Always respond. So yeah.
All right, sounds good. Thank you all again for tuning in. AJ, thank you for being on the show. And let's close it
Yeah, of
out as we
course.
always do. God bless you all in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen. Enjoy your college football Saturday. I know I will be glued to the screen. So, peace.
Yep. Same.
This is JCP. and plus AJ, I guess. And we'll catch you next time. Peace.